Hey guys, this is Miss Morrison. These videos are for 2.6 combinations and compositions. Okay, basically a combination is how we add, subtract, multiply, and divide different functions. And a function looks like an equation, but instead of y equals, it has f of x equals. And then sometimes we use different letters for different functions. Like this 2x plus 1 is called a f because it's f of x. This equation is called g of x. If I turn the page to what we're going to do later, we have more different, more functions. We have like a p of x, or a m of x, or a h of x, or a b of x. So no matter what little alphabet we're using, a f, a g, a b, it's still function notation, and it's basically an equation with a letter from the alphabet and then a parentheses x to identify it. Okay, so combinations means when we add two different equations or two different functions, we subtract them, we multiply them, we divide them. Compositions means when we plug them into each other. So we pick up a whole equation and plug it into the other equation where the x is. It's kind of weird. Okay, so first, why don't we look at these tricks. This is 2.6 tricks, and there's an example on the left, and then over here on the right, this is the good stuff. This table means if you see any three of these columns, then this is what you do, and this is how you do it. So if I see f of x plus g of x, or f plus g of x, or f plus g, I'm gonna add my stuff, and this is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna write something plus something, combine like terms, and stop. And I keep going down. And then the funky part about this stuff is, even though you see a parentheses x, parentheses x, parentheses x, parentheses x, those do not mean multiply by x. That just means there's an x in your answer. Trickery dickery. Okay, so let's look at this first example. It says f plus g. So I go to find where I see f plus g. Here it is. I see f plus g. So that means I'm going to do the addition. And how I'm going to do it is I'm going to write something plus something. So I'm going to take my f thing, which is 2x plus 1, and I'm going to put a plus sign. And then I'm going to write my g thing, negative 3x plus 7. And then I'm going to combine like terms. So 2x minus 3x is a negative 1x. And then 1 plus 8, 1 plus 7 is an 8, positive 8. And we don't have to put the negative 1, so this is just negative x plus 8. And then we stop. We don't do opposites. We don't equal it to 0. We don't do anything like that. Okay, let's look at part B. It says f minus g parentheses x. Well, remember that parentheses x does not mean we multiply everything by x. It just means there's an x in your answer. Okay, so when I see f minus g parentheses x, when I see f minus g parentheses x, I do minus them. And how I minus them is I write the first sucker minus the second sucker. And the second sucker has to be in fat parentheses. Okay, so for us, our f is 2x plus 1. A fat minus parentheses whatever my g thing is, and my g thing is negative 3x plus 7. Okay, and remember that parentheses x does not mean you multiply by parentheses. It just means you have an x in your answer. Okay, now if we look back at my steps, it says distribute the negative into the parentheses to change the signs, combine like terms, and stop. Okay, so if I distribute this negative into the parentheses, I'm still going to have 2x plus 1 because nothing happens to that. And then this 3x becomes a positive, and that 7 becomes a negative. Then we combine like terms, and these x's have the same but. So 2x plus 3x is 5x. And then 1 minus 7 is minus 6. And then you stop. You do not add 6 and divide by 5. None of that sorcery. Okay, part C. When I see f of x multiply dot g of x. Let's look. When I see... Oh, here it is. F of x multiply dot g of x. Then I do multiply them. And how I multiply them is I write 2 sets of parentheses. And I fill them in. And I have to FOIL it. Oh, poop. Okay. So, I'm going to draw 2 sets of parentheses. I'm going to write my f thing first, because the f comes first, f of x. So 2x plus 1. Then I'm going to put my g thing, negative 3x plus 7. And then my steps say I have to FOIL. So when I FOIL, I get, let's see here. 2x multiplied negative 3x is negative 6x squared. Then I owe outsides. That's 2x and 7. So 2x times 7 is 14x. Okay, insides are the innards, 1 and negative 3x. And you don't have to put them in parentheses. I don't know why I'm being fancy today. And 1 times negative 3x is negative 3x. And then L is 1 times 7. And that's just 7. Okay, good. Then I write it all out. So I got negative 6x squared, a plusative 14x, a minus 3x, a plusative 7. Now my how-to steps say something about FOIL if you got stuff squared. Well, I don't. So now I'm on combining like terms and then stopping. So my like terms have the same but, that 14x minus 3x. That makes a plusative 11x. And then bring down that negative 6x squared and that plusative 7. And hey, baby, done with that problem. I don't factor it. I don't minus 7. I don't do opposites. That's just the answer. Okay, the next sucker says divide f over g. Well, when I see a f over g, I do divide them. And how I do it is I write the f stuff on top of the g stuff. Okay, so I write the f stuff, 2x plus 1, on top of the g stuff, negative 3x plus 5. And then you stop. Done. Woohoo! Okay, then let's do a crazy one. So that was pretty simple because both of them were just mx plus b's. Let's look at this sucker. This one says when f of x equals 2x plus 1 and g of x equals negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 6, find the following. So first, part A says f plus g parentheses x. So when I see f plus g parentheses x, I do add them, and how I do it is I write something plus something, and then I combine like terms. Okay, let's go. So I'm gonna write my f thing, 2x plus 1, then a plus something, a plus sign, and my g thing, negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 6. Then I combine like terms. Well, I don't see any other x squared except for this one, so I'm just going to write him down. Negative 3x squared. Let's look at my x's. I got a dos x plus a dos x makes a quattro x. Plusative. Then I got a plusative 1 and a minus 6, and that makes minus 5. And then done. Stop. Do not add 5 to the other side. Don't do anything. Do not multiply by the x in the parentheses because that just tells us we have an x in our answer. Okay, let's look at part B. It says f of x minus g of x. Well, when I see f of x minus g of x, I do minus them. And how I do it is I write something minus the other something in big fat parentheses. All right, so I'm going to write my f thing, which is 2x plus 1. Then I'm going to write a fat minus. Then I'm going to write my g thing in parentheses. Negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 6. Okay, good. Then it says distribute the negative into the parentheses. Combine like terms. Stop. Okay. So let's distribute into the parentheses. And when I do that, nothing happens to the 2x plus 1, so 2x plus 1. And then everything in the parentheses, the signs get changed. So no more minus 3. Now we have a plus 3x squared. No more plus 2. Now we have minus 2x. No more minus 6. Now we have plus 6. Okay, now we combine like terms. Well, I don't see any other x squareds except for the one that's staring at me, so let me write it down, 3x squared. Now let's look at our x's. I think my x is canceled. 2x minus 2x, that cancels. Okay, so now let's look at our naked number, the constants. 1 plus 6. 1 plus 6 gives you a big fat plus 7. Hey, baby, done with that problem. We don't equal it to 0. We don't do opposites. We just combine like terms and stop. Okay, let's look at part C. It says FG in parentheses with another parentheses X. So when I see FG in parentheses and another parentheses X, I do multiply them. And how I do it is I write 2 sets of parentheses, and then I have to FOIL. Poop. We might have to do a little extra besides a FOIL. Okay, so I'm going to write my F thing in a set of parentheses. There's my F thing. Now I'm going to write my G thing, which is that negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 6. And then it says FOIL if you have a binomial. Well, I don't have a binomial, so I can't use the acronym FOIL because this would mean like FOIL, because there's the second chunk is not a binomial. So instead of foiling, we're just gonna draw the little hoopty things. Let's go. 2x times negative 3x squared, that makes negative 6x to the up your exponent 3. 2x times 2x is a positive 4 up your exponent x squared. 2x times negative 6 is negative 12x. Oh gosh, I'm running out of room. For the next sucker, 1 times negative 3x squared is negative 3x squared. 1 times 2x is positive 2x. 1 times negative 6 is big fat minus 6. All right, now we're going to combine like terms. I don't see any other exponent 3's except for this one. So I'm just going to bring him down again. Negative 6x to the 3. Let's look for my squareds. I got a 4x squared minus a 3x squared. That makes a positive 1x squared, or just x squared. Then my x is negative 12x plus a 2x. That makes minus 10x. And then my naked number, my constant, minus 6. I just throw that at the back end. And then you stop. You don't equal it to 0. You don't do none of that. All right, let's look at part B. F over G. Well, when I see F over G, I do divide them. And how I do that is I put the F stuff on top of the G stuff. Okay. So I put the F stuff, 2x plus 1, on top of the G stuff, negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 6. Hey, baby, done with that problem. If you go on to pre-cal, you might have to like factor the bottom, then cancel to find something called a hole or removable discontinuity. But that's only if we go to pre-cal. Okay, if we look at part E, it says G minus F. Well, I don't see no G minus F on this paper. I see F minus G. So it's the same thing, but instead of writing the F junk first, we're going to write the G junk. So let's see what happens. We're supposed to minus, and we write something minus, and then the other something is in parentheses. But this time, since it says G first, I'm going to write my G junk first. So negative 3x squared plus 2x minus 6. That's my G junk, okay? Minus parentheses, my F junk was way up here, 2x plus 1. All right. Then we're going to distributize the negative and combine like terms. So this first chunk on the left, nothing happens to him, so let me write him down. Then for the second chunk, a negative times a 2x is negative 2x. A negative times Juan is a negative 1. Or if you don't like what just happened, just think, change the signs. Okay, then let's combine like terms. I don't see no other squared, so let me just write this one down. Negative 3x squared. Then if I look at my x's, 2x minus 2x is gone. Then for my naked numbers, or my constants, negative 6 minus 1 is negative 7. Hey, baby, done with that problem. Yeah, and notice that order matters. So if we look at option B, part B said f of x minus g of x, and my answer was 3x squared plus 7. But for part E, g minus f is backwards. So my answer is different. It becomes negative 3x squared minus 7. Okay.